Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and today we're going to be looking at some of the best things that I think happened in 2023. I've been wanting to do some videos where we recap 2023. We'll be doing one for my account, obviously with my account update, but also just some other videos that talk about, what's happened in 2023. But this one's particular to the game as a whole. What has been really, really good in Galaxy of Heroes for 2023. We're going to get into the video. We're going to talk about these things. But first, I've got to thank my channel members so much. They've been a huge reason for why 2023 has been so successful. I really, really appreciate you guys. Whether you're at the Wampa and Jedi Master tier, and to those who are on the council. Even if you aren't yet granted the rank of Master, I do appreciate you guys so much. It's been an amazing year. I hope it can, 2024, we continue this. You all are fantastic people. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up and like the video, subscribe for more content like this, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about what I think has been awesome in 2023. The release cadence. Now, I'm going to preface this and say that I think that they released Cal, Leia, and Leviathan all around the same time. It was way too close together in my personal opinion. It felt very, very quick. However, in the grand scheme of a year, to only release three characters or three things at the level that they were was very good. We got another S tier fleet, we got a Galactic Legend, and then a Journey Guide character like Cal. Over the course of an entire year, I think that's very good. I think they kind of all got released too close together. Like I would have loved to have seen one in, the first 4 months, one in the second, and then one kind of in the final with them spaced out a little bit more, right? Like you can't say, oh yeah, I would have loved to have seen like a January release and May release and like November or something, space it out a little bit. But overall, three things over the course of a year is good. It's good they didn't try to fit in other things here. Kind of let the player base breathe a little bit because it was a lot. You think how good all three of those things are. It's a lot to handle at once. Really upset a lot of the meta in this game. Next is the new raid. This new raid is unbelievably free-to-play friendly, much more so than the Crate Dragon raid. When you look at the raid as a whole, if we go into the raid here for a second, think about the raid as a whole. Right, we go to the raid here. You think of the factions that are required in here, right? So obviously you got your Galactic Legend Leia, which kind of goes on par with Jabba. But you look here at Rebels, Empire, and Ewoks. And that is far more accessible to 99.9% of the player base than the Crate Dragon raid. Where the Crate Dragon raid, there was the Old Republic, which I'd say was the most accessible. Then it was Hutt Cartel. So characters you primarily got from farming Jabba. There wasn't a lot of other characters you could use there. Boba being like the best one. Then you had the Mandalorian faction, which really was just, you needed Maul to do well. And then finally you had Tuskens and Jawas, which just kind of like, it wasn't that great, right? Now you compare this to your Ewok faction, Empire, and Rebels, and particularly look at the different ones that are available to use. You've got three characters here who were required for Sith Eternal and Veer Stark Piet. So right there you farmed Sith Eternal, there's three characters right there. Throwing in Range Trooper, who a lot of players would have for their Imperial Trooper team. Think of your Death and Shore Trooper, both pilots. You look at the Ewoks, everybody has built Ewoks because they need to get C-3PO. Han and Chewie, very common characters. Wedge, Lando, Admiral Akbar, very common characters. It really, really was good to see that they added in some of these characters that a lot of players have. Even Jedi Knight Luke is a very common character. And then obviously your new releases had to go in here. Iden Versio was another solid addition. I felt, and on top of that, the ease that, you think Piet and Han Solo, I put those two in there for a reason. Piet and Han Solo together at Relic 9 and Relic 8, and I think even just both at Relic 8, can deal about 2 million damage in the raid on the right tier. You do the max tier at Relic 8, both of them, they'll do about 2 million damage. That's huge. As a free-to-play, a lot of players will have them because you went for Jabba or you went for Executor. You have those two things, you've got stuff for this raid. And I think that's what's important, is that there's a bunch of different journey guides that you could do here in order to participate in this raid. Obviously, you did the Leia one, you could participate. You did Jedi Knight Luke, you're participating. You did Jabba, you're able to participate. You did Jedi Master Luke, you're able to participate. You did even Sith Eternal, and you'd be able to participate in this raid. There's a lot of ways that you could participate in this raid with characters that you've built for various reasons, and that's what I think is so free-to-play friendly. Comparative to that Crate Dragon raid where it was a lot of stuff that was out of the way of each other. There wasn't a lot of connections. There's a lot of connections here, and I think this is really good. Very free-to-play friendly. I'm excited that this raid is going to be around for a while. I think it's one that a lot of players are going to be able to participate with early on. Even if it's not the most engaging, far more free-to-play friendly, and the rewards are amazing. Next is the team touch-ups. The characters that have been released this year, one of the common themes was that they were kind of touching up teams. They were making teams out of, they released stuff so that way you can make better teams. Think about Scout Trooper kind of going in there with Iden Versio. And that also Scout Trooper being released because we need the full Imperial Remnant team with new Dark Trooper Gideon. Like, that's great. That shows that they're thinking ahead, that they're trying to think about, hey, we're going to release this character. We want to make sure that there's a team that doesn't just completely bust everything apart. Captain Rex comes in. Sure, he kicks people out of the Phoenix Squadron. But he takes the Phoenix to a level that otherwise they would be nowhere near without him. Marin made the Night Sisters great again. I mean, they can beat Challenge Tier 3, like made them greater than they'd ever been before. Fantastic release. Terran Malicos, Seer Jinda, creating an unaligned Force user faction to kind of pull in some of those leftover characters that sit around in your roster that you wouldn't be able to use. That, to me, is exactly what the kind of stuff that we need in this game. Either create new factions or just touch-ups to existing ones. Look at what they did with Admiral Trench. That was brilliant. I'm not saying that Trench is the greatest character of all time, but recognize that Trench built another Separatist team that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to have. So, again, very, very good on Capital Games' part this year. And again, I didn't even get to cover everybody, but just big-ticket items. We also got some solid reworks, which kind of goes along with this team touch-up, that Lobot's rework was not just a rework because, Lobot was in the game. They recognized a lot of us were using R2-D2 with Shorty. Well, now you can throw Lobot in with Shorty as long as it's all light side droids, really good synergy, gives you another team to use. That it was thinking ahead that we're taking a character away from a team, we need to put somebody back in, and Lobot was that answer. I think that was great. Hello, Nim. Yeah, just jump right up on my laptop. Don't worry about that. Just back to the video. Then you had Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando, who again, they want to create two Mandalorian teams. They want to have a dark side version and they want to have a light side version under Bo-Katan Mandalore. Well, we need to update our existing Mandalorians so that way they're not just garbage, that Maul and Canderous aren't just carrying this team. We need to release these guys. So really solid right there. Again, Capital Games showing that they're thinking ahead. Capital Games showing that there's a thought process to what they're doing is important to me with these reworks. That it wasn't just reworks. Like, you think of the Mace Windu rework. That was an amazing rework. He definitely needed it. But that wasn't a rework so that way you could use a brand new team or that they were creating something new there. They just did that because he was trash. We're here, we're trying to do new stuff. We need to do some reworks. I love that. Obviously, we can't talk about 2023 without talking about the Lightspeed bundles. I would argue this is one of the biggest and best things that's ever happened in this game. They recognized the issue with player engagement, that players aren't engaging with the newest content in this game because they're stuck trying to get things that have been out for years and years. So by releasing these things at what I would say is affordable, I would argue that it was affordable. To get all of these, it was $100, which I get is a lot of money, but you think $10 to give you almost all the way to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren's characters. Think $40 to get almost all the way to Rey, including, ships wise. Really good stuff there. I thought that was solid. They did a good job with those releases. They were well received by the community. So we know that we're getting another one for Beskar and Mando. We know that we've got other ones, at least data mined, coming probably in 2024. So really good Lightspeed bundle stuff. I think this is really helping player engagement, player enjoyment, and I obviously help their bottom line, which is important. The better their bottom line is, the longer this game is sticking around. So just remember that, guys. Thank a whale a time or two. We've got communication, and I think the communication as a whole this year was good. I would argue around the Leviathan stuff, there was some spotty communication. I wasn't always a big fan of. At times, there's silence on certain things. I mean, I can remember even with Reva, when Reva first hit, they were just completely silent on if that's what she was intended to do or not. And they still have never really said whether that's her intention, is to be as good as she is, or if they just kind of gave up. But communication as a whole was better. They've done a lot of polls to see what players want to see, what players want. They've done a lot of things to give you insight into what they're thinking. Whenever they're investigating something now, it always seems like, hey, we're investigating this issue. That's good. I even go as far as to say that I love, or wouldn't go as far as to say, but I love whenever they're really doing these kit reveals and they talk about the inspiration for them and they bring in, Meathead will post from whoever designed that character, the elements that they used. I think that's awesome. That is what we want to see, because you need to remember that Meathead and Crumb are community managers. They're not developers. They're not developing the game. They just manage the community. They're the face of the team behind them. And I think I love being able to hear from the rest of those kind of behind the scenes. It puts, I don't want to say it puts, like, we don't get to see their face per se, but like it puts a person there. Instead of just them reading this, prepared statement, it's getting to hear from people who are actually doing it behind the scene. I think that's really cool, right? I love seeing that. I hope more of that continues in 2024. And if there's one thing I would love to see, more of in 2024, it would be Meathead's interactions with the community. He's been good on the forums at times when players can't log in, that he's trying to help people out, give them the information they need. I'd love to see more of that from that team as we move into 2024. I think they made really good improvements, and I hope those improvements continue. Finally, and I want to end on an amazing note, is the bonus drop events that we've gotten this year. Whether it was for the characters who were needed for Leia, right now we've obviously got them based around the characters for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. It's been awesome. This has been one of those changes in this game that has completely revolutionized the way we play Galaxy of Heroes. To me, these bonus drop events very much remind me of the way that Marvel Strike Force does things. Now, in a different sense, they don't always do bonus drops like this, but Marvel Strike Force had these orbs, and almost every single character in the game was in an orb in some way, shape, or form, unless they were like a legendary character. Now, it's been a while since I played, but I remember being able to get all of these orbs, and I might not even be able to use the character that I might have unlocked. But it's less farming that I had to do. That they gave you some ways to naturally accumulate shards for characters that you might not use for years, but you didn't have to go and farm a node for them. And I think that's one area Capital Games has really struggled with Galaxy of Heroes on, is that players don't really feel the need to spend on a character because they don't have the gear, or they don't feel they're going to spend on gear because they don't even have the characters. That if you want players to feel like they can do something, you've got to give them, throw them a little bit of a bone. So I think these bonus drop events, obviously right now we've got them for characters. And if you have a 7-star character, you're getting bonus drop Zetas in the Cantina, which we all need Zetas right now. So I really, really love these events. I hope they continue. Like, I would love to see this once a month. Even if it was just for a day a month, we're going to have bonus drops in the Cantina, mod battles, ship battles, all that stuff. That'd be really good for this game, and I think it'd be really healthy. It would give players incentives to build the newest stuff and to interact with it. So, again, overall, guys, I think as a whole, 2023 was a smashing success for this game. I think they did good jobs with overall releases. Is there some balance issues with certain things? Absolutely, right? I think we can all agree on that. Is there some Datacron stuff that's going on? Yes. But as a whole, they've done a very good job this year. I feel they deserve the credit for it. I've really appreciated the time and effort that has gone into a lot of these things. The thing of this, with this new raid, I know some players don't really think it's the most engaging, but they tried to think outside the box for it, right? And the fact that you can auto it, I mean, that's even better, right? So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and if you're still watching, guys, I want to make sure that you guys subscribe for our King Wampa. In the comments, if you're still watching right now, you're probably one of, like, not even 1% of players. So in the comments, Wampa is king. We got to start doing that again. I love all of you. May the force be with you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.